to Satanic ASMR. My name is Chaplain Leopold. Hail Satan, and hail yourself. Today I'm continuing our series of videos looking at satanic philosophy and satanic practices. The topic in question for today's video is one of the most requested subjects from the comments section. Satanic rituals. What are they? How do you perform them? What is their purpose? I'm going to start by explaining the various elements that make up a satanic ritual, and after that I'll perform an uninterrupted ritual here on camera for you all. If you are interested, then you are welcome to follow along at home and perform your own ritual at the same time. If you'd like to skip ahead to the ritual itself, then I've put the timestamp on screen and in the description. Now, what is a satanic ritual? The short answer is whatever you, as a Satanist, want it to be. It's very important to understand that the rituals performed by Satanists are not codified or prescribed like they are in other religions. Every Satanist is an individual, and as such, every Satanist makes their own individual rituals. What I do in my rituals may not be the same as what another Satanist does in theirs. The satanic organization I am a part of, the Global Order of Satan, also has its own rituals that are used for specific occasions, such as initiating new members or performing unbaptisms. An unbaptism is a ceremony where you reject your baptism, by the way. Even these rituals, however, aren't codified. They are constantly amended and adapted as needed. There might be a basic structure used as a guide, but it can be changed entirely on a whim should the need arise. Now, this is the case for my brand of Satanism. That's modern, rational Satanism, which I have discussed in detail in my Satanism 101 video. I can't speak for other branches of Satanism, which view rituals differently. I know, for instance, that the Church of Satan have a very strict ritual structure as laid out in Anton LaVey's book, The Satanic Bible. I, of course, don't follow the satanic beliefs of the Church of Satan. Alongside the basic ritual structure found in the Satanic Bible, LaVey also released a companion book called The Satanic Rituals. The book features a selection of rituals that read as though they are drawn straight from the set of a Hammer horror film. To my mind, they are wholly impractical and make for juicy reading, the sort that titillates the reader, rather than being a textbook of actual practical rituals for a practicing Satanist. And I'm sure that was what LaVey was aiming for when he wrote it anyway. He was a very good salesman, after all, the sort who knew how to captivate his audience. The most famous ritual is, of course, the Black Mass, which is probably what everyone pictures in their head when they hear the words Satanic Ritual. I don't wish to dwell on the ritual structure laid out in the Satanic Bible and Satanic Rituals for very long, as from the perspective of a modern rational Satanist, it's outdated and very misogynistic. LaVey always writes that the person leading the ritual is a man, and insists on having a prostrated nude woman as the altar for his rituals. Always a woman. It can't be any other gender, and they must always be nude. There's nothing wrong with involving nudity in your satanic rituals, if you wish to, of course. But it should be done because you and other participants want to be nude, not because creepy Uncle Anton demands it. I know a number of Satanists of all genders who'd love to play the part of a nude altar, of course, but it would be on their terms, and they would dictate their role in the ritual. In my opinion, LaVey's rituals are very much designed for their shock and awe power. That being said, the high drama aspect of these classic satanic rituals is very appealing, and I do like to create very dramatic rituals from time to time, especially for large gatherings of Satanists. There's nothing wrong with a bit of shock and awe, just so long as it's consensual and agreed upon by all the participants beforehand. This brings me nicely on to modern satanic rituals. Firstly, get rid of any ideas you have or may have picked up from horror films. Satanists sacrificing of virgins. That's just nonsense. I've explained before that doing these things is completely against satanic principles. It's completely irrational to kill something or someone and expect it to cast some sort of magic spell. Who would we even be sacrificing them to? We don't believe in a literal devil. We aren't appeasing Satan with a sacrifice, because Satan doesn't exist. Neither does God, of course. So sacrifice is never involved in any true satanic ritual. I'm sure there are lone, disturbed folks claiming to be Satanists who have committed terrible atrocities, claiming to be performing a satanic ritual. But sadly they are generally very unhealthy, disturbed people who have nothing to do with the actual practice of Satanism. The other thing we aren't doing in a ritual is casting a spell or expecting any kind of magical effect from the ritual. We are rational Satanists. Magic doesn't exist. The only thing that you affect by conducting a ritual is yourself. So, what is involved in a satanic ritual? Well, as I said at the start, rituals are incredibly varied. If I'm performing a solitary ritual by myself, then it might be as simple as taking a walk into the woods and finding a moment to allow myself to think about how I am manifesting my personal understanding of Satan. Alternatively, I might devote an hour to preparing a more formal ritual at home, taking the time to light candles ceremoniously, don my ritual garments, and recite satanic affirmations. Larger rituals with more participants would see us creating a large altar, a table draped in ceremonial cloth, strewn with satanic items, incense burners, candles, bells to ring, an offering bowl to burn things in. All the participants would take time to ceremoniously put on their satanic robes and masks, and we would normally build a fire or light flaming torches. Then there are the truly huge rituals, which are normally performed publicly dissent against unjust institutions. An example of this is the unbaptism ritual I mentioned earlier. This normally involves any number of Satanists who wish to publicly reject their baptism or other religious indoctrination that was forced on them unwillingly. These are the high drama affairs performed in front of a crowd, designed to publicly call out the injustices and horrors of religions. The language used will be inflammatory, and often there will be an element of shock and awe involved too. I hasten to add that our use of shocking imagery is intentional and from a place of deep reverence for what we do. For instance, I once conducted a ritual where a willing participant had a pint of their blood drained whilst I recited Satanic liturgy. I then collected their blood and poured it over their head. Again, this was all done safely and consensually by all involved. The purpose was to demonstrate the wasting of blood caused by unjust blood donation laws that banned men who practiced homosexual acts from donating blood. The participants' blood could have been used to save someone's life, if not for homophobic, outdated laws. Instead, we spilt their rejected donation of life-saving blood to show how nonsensical these laws were and are. Blood, nudity, sexual acts, fire, flagellation. All of these can be used in any satanic ritual, but never have to be. If they are used, then it is always important that it is done safely and that all participants are doing so consensually. For the most part, though, you won't find these activities in the vast majority of satanic rituals. And if you are planning to do any of these things, stop first and consider if what you have planned is safe and the participants are doing so consensually. If the answer is no to either of those questions, then don't do it. Now, a different type of ritual is the one you perform alone. Solo rituals can often be seen as a form of meditation or time for self-reflection. One of the cornerstones of my Satanism is using the allegorical character of Satan as the basis for guiding my actions and ways of thinking. For me, Satan is the rebel who stands against injustice no matter what. Satan is the seeker of truth and the guiding light of rationality. It is my endeavor as a practicing Satanist to always be working to become my own manifestation of Satan. When we say, "Hail Satan," in truth we are saying, "Hail myself," for we are our own personification of Satan. A satanic ritual is a time to focus our thoughts on achieving this, reflecting on the ways we've acted that have been in keeping with our own image of Satan, examining the ways in which we haven't lived up to how we wish to act, allowing ourselves to remember that we are not perfect and that everyone is fallible. Thinking on the ways in which we can be more of the Satan we wish to see in ourselves. The language used in a ritual may sound as though we are trying to summon Satan or worship the devil, but it is all allegorical. When we say things like, "Open the gates of hell and let Lucifer reign on earth," it is metaphorical. To us, the gates of hell are within our own minds. Letting Lucifer out means allowing ourselves to be more like the image of Satan we wish to become. Now, this might form the core of a satanic ritual, but there are often other aspects involved as well. For example, a group satanic ritual is used to foster unity between the participants, reaffirming our bonds of satanic unity. It is a chance for us to come together as Satanists and proudly declare our satanic values. We openly reject the fearful and hateful dogma of oppressive religious beliefs. We raise our voices to hail Satan. We delight in the satanic virtue of pride. We commit all manner of perfectly normal activities that others would regard as sins. A group ritual can of course also be a special occasion, such as a satanic initiation, when new members are welcomed into the unfold. There might be a test, such as burning a page from the Bible to ensure that a member has truly left behind any sense of superstition or religious fear. We might also use a ritual to define a goal or set ourselves a purpose. The act of performing the ritual becomes a rallying cry round which we all coalesce. Shared satanic rituals are, without a doubt, my favorite type of ritual to engage in. Preparing a ritual and carrying it out with other dedicated, wonderful Satanists is a pleasure beyond measure. Some of the most joyous moments of my life have been spent in the company of my satanic family, lighting candles and hailing Satan. So, now you have a better understanding of the general idea behind a satanic ritual. Let's talk about some of the things you can think about incorporating into your own rituals. This isn't an exhaustive list, and you can always come up with your own ideas to include. I'm going to assume you are performing a small, personal ritual for now. It seems most likely, given the current lockdown situation. The first thing to consider is the space in which you will be performing your ritual. I would personally always recommend a private space if possible. A ritual is a personal affair after all. You don't want to be interrupted in the middle of hailing Satan. I use my study, or I go for a long walk into the deep forest where I won't be stumbled upon by passers-by. You could always use your bedroom or even the bathroom if other options aren't available and privacy is hard to come by. Remember, you don't need to be bellowing "Hail Satan" in your rituals unless you want to. If you don't wish for others to know you are hailing Satan, then say the words inside your head or whisper them very quietly. Make sure to collect all the items you'll be using in your ritual and place them on your altar. Your altar is whatever you choose it to be. A table or a desk is common, but you can use any surface, including the floor, a tree stump, or even the kitchen sink. Create your altar as you see fit. Some people like to drape their altar in a special cloth, then place their items on top of that. Others prefer a simple rustic altar that requires little to no decoration. As with everything in a ritual, it's your choice. Some common items used in rituals are candles, matches, satanic symbols, such as the symbol of Baphomet, the inverted pentagram, and other imagery of Satan. You can also use incense, pendants, jewelry, bells to ring, gongs to strike, a chalice should you wish to drink wine, and a ceremonial bowl to burn things in. But again, it's totally up to you. At this point, I change into the specific clothes I will be wearing for the ritual. What I wear for any given ritual is specific to what I will be doing and where it will be taking place. If I am out in the woods in January, for instance, I'll already be wearing lots of layers, as it'll be very cold. So, adding my hooded cloak is a natural addition in this instance. If I'm in my study with lots of candles lit, however, I might not want a thick hooded cloak, and so keep to lighter garments. Whatever you wear, take this time to change slowly and methodically. Each item you put on is another step towards entering your ritual state. You aren't trying to rush this. Take your time and give the action of preparing for the ritual the gravitas it deserves. You could include things like doing your makeup in this section as well if you wish to do so. A common practice at the start of any ritual is what's known as defining the space. Now, this is influenced by practitioners of magic. That is, people who genuinely believe they are casting spells. Obviously, as a rational Satanist, we don't believe we are creating a magic circle or ring of protection or anything like that. But we do know that the act of defining your space has the benefit of placing you in a mindset that defines your ritual space as separate from your regular time. telling yourself, I am now entering the ritual state, has a powerful effect of focusing your mind on the task at hand and allowing you to become immersed in the ritual and hopefully amplify the effect you wish to gain from it. If it wasn't already obvious, this is a psychological effect, not a magic one. You can trace out a circle or pentagram on the floor, either literally, if you can do so, by walking in a circle or walking the 5 points of the pentagram. Alternatively, you could trace the space in the air with your outstretched hand, or use an implement such as a ceremonial knife to trace the space in the air if you so desire. Remember, it's your ritual. Do as you will. These are merely ideas. I would normally then light a candle. The soft, flickering flame of the candle places me in my ritual mindset like nothing else. Think about your various senses. What stimulates you? Think about light, darkness, scents, smells, aromas, the temperature, sound, music. What's right for your ritual? I might play some very ambient droning sounds softly in the background. I've made a few tracks myself for this purpose, and you'll hear one in the ritual I conduct later. Whenever I light candles in a ritual, I always use a match as well. For me, the action of striking a match and the scent of the match are key aspects of entering my ritual state. Now that the space is established, I normally say a short blessing on the space. You'll hear mine later, but the general idea is to set the tone for what is to follow. Are you sealing this space against the ravages of fearful religious dogma? Are you welcoming the hosts of hell to earth? Are you having an intimate, one-on-one conversation with Lucifer? Use the blessing to establish the narrative of your ritual. Whatever your blessing, you should always finish by saying, "Hail Satan." In a group ritual, all the participants should reply with "Hail Satan" whenever the person leading the ritual says it. At this point, I will normally light more candles just invoking the names of demons, or Lucifer, or other sources of satanic inspiration. In my affirmation later, you'll hear me reference Dionysus, who for me is a great source of inspiration for my vision of Satan. This is the next step in focusing my mind for introspection. I'm mentally summoning these figures. They are becoming my source of inspiration and satanic energy. At this point, I will recite some satanic affirmations, confirming my devotion to Satan and my rejection of the tyrant God. Then I'll take some time for self-reflection. If all has gone to plan, I should be in a relaxed, introspective state, perfect for reflecting on my actions since the last time I performed a ritual. At this point, I will sit in silence for as much time as I need to reflect. I will assess how I could have acted differently in some situations. How could I be more like the Satan I see in myself? Once I've taken the time I need, I then say another satanic benediction and hail Satan. Sometimes I might end a ritual there, but sometimes I might add additional actions. In the ritual I'll be performing for you in a moment, I'll take this time to purposefully reject the hateful teachings of the Bible by burning a page from it. It's a small act of defiance against the machinations of a tyrannical ideology, but it reaffirms my commitment to my satanic values. Once I've finished any additional actions I've decided to take, I will close the ritual. Sometimes this is known as banishing. We send away any negativity from the session and break the circle we drew at the start of the ritual. Candles are extinguished and the ritual is complete. I always make sure to carefully tidy away my altar, placing everything into its correct storage location, and methodically change out of my ritual garments. This, for me, is as much a part of the ritual as anything else. It signals the return to regular existence outside of the ritual space. It confirms in your mind the importance placed on your ritual items. cement their gravitas in your thoughts, thus allowing you to better enter your ritual state in the future when you unpack them for your next ritual. Also, it's just good practice to keep everything neat and tidy. That is one example of my solo ritual practices. It's not the only form my rituals take. Other Satanists may have similar ritual practices, or they may be very different. It really is up to the individual. Please comment below with your ritual ideas and practices. What helps you enter your ritual state? I hope this has answered some questions about Satanic rituals. Of course, this is only a brief introduction, and we've barely scratched the surface of everything a Satanic ritual is and can be. There are so many different purposes behind rituals that we haven't even touched on yet. So maybe I'll do another video in the future discussing some rituals in more detail. Let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in such a video. If you haven't already, then please consider subscribing to the channel and liking this video. Now, enjoy a Satanic ritual. Hail Satan. Hail yourselves. With this mask, I become the manifestation of Satan I wish to be. In the name of Satan, I claim this space. I mark now the 5 points of the pentagram: earth, wind, fire, water, spirit. Let no other disturb these pathways until the infernal rites have been fulfilled. With these words, I desecrate this ground and declare this a new hell brought to earth. In the name of Lucifer, this ground is cleansed of the taint of the tyrant. I command the denizens of hell to pour forth and be bound within this pentagram. Bless this space with your gifts of sinful pride. I feel the glow of satanic fires upon me now. Stoke the flames and let the burning light of Lucifer into the world. I have called forth the beings of hell to aid me in my satanic rites. I feel their presence now, here beside me. I hear the whispers of secrets and the gifts of knowledge. I sense the presence of great power coursing through my veins. From the tips of my fingers I feel the energy of dark entities flowing out and into this room. Let the cursed blessings of the one who dwells in the pit be upon me for now and evermore. I will reaffirm my allegiance to Satan and reject once more the ignorance of the tyrant. Hail, Satan! I light this candle in the name of Lilith. Guide my actions towards rebellion. I light this candle in the name of Asmodeus. Make me forever lustful for knowledge. I light this candle in the name of Dionysus. Fill me with the ecstasy of the underworld. I drink deep from the font of Dionysus's light-bringing knowledge. Fill me with the gifts of the underworld. I light this final candle in the name of Satan. Let me become the manifestation of the horned beast. I affirm that I follow the teachings of Satan, Lucifer, Morning Star. I affirm that I seek the truth that dwells in the dark. I look to Satan as the beacon of rebellion, the one who stood against the tyrant god. Let me be filled with the satanic impulse to eat freely from the tree of knowledge. Give me the power to stand where others kneel. Give me the insight to accept my own failings and build upon them. I invite Satan to take hold of me now. Let me become your manifestation, made present. At this point, I would normally take time for silent introspection. I encourage all of you to take this opportunity to do the same. Examine your actions in the last week. In what ways have you succeeded in being your own manifestation of Satan? What have been your failings? Do not punish yourself for any transgressions. Look at them, learn from them, allow them to be present in your thoughts, but do not weigh on your mind. How would you act differently if presented with the same situation again? Accepting our fallibility and striving for self-improvement is a noble satanic virtue, as is taking pride in your achievements. These don't have to be grand achievements. Think of every positive thing you've done, no matter how small. Bask in the pride you feel at your success. Satan teaches us to be prideful. We feel no need to be ashamed of our pride. We do not cower before a vengeful God. We don't need to screen our pride behind false modesty. Own your successes, all of them. Let them fill you with joy. Be invigorated by every minor or major success. Take as long as you need. Be sure to never punish yourself in your thoughts. Mistakes are human. We live and learn. Be kind to yourself and be filled with the power and might of Satan. I now decree this final affirmation. O Satan, I feel your influence within me. In every aspect of my being, I welcome you. I am the vessel for your presence on earth. I feel myself becoming that which I admire in you. May I be forever and always a seeker of truth and an agitator against injustice. Hail, Satan! Now I once again reject the tyrant God in word and deed. I hold here a fragment torn from the book of hate and lies. It shall burn by my hand. I do this in rejection of the misery caused by the hateful ignorance that the loathsome book has taught humanity. With this act of destruction, may new fires be lit in the hearts of those who seek compassion for all. May reason prevail over the irrational dogma of those who cause pain in the name of the tyrant. I reject all gods and superstitions. I am my own highest moral authority. I do not cower before any deity. I will not follow the path of ignorance. The satanic affirmations have been spoken, and the rejection of ignorance is completed. I draw this ritual to a close. I take with me the power and pride of Satan. I banish the fiends of hell back to the underworld. I go now to walk this earth as an unholy light, shining the influence of Satan wherever it is needed. With the extinguishing of these candles, the pentagram is now broken. The ritual is complete. Hail, Satan.